Welcome to Mongolian Made Easy, the podcast that teaches you how to speak Mongolian in a fun and effective way. I'm Aku, your host and guide for this learning journey. I'm so happy you're here with me today. In this episode, we will learn about different Mongolian holidays throughout the calendar year, how Mongolians celebrate each of these holidays briefly, so you can have a basic understanding and can better prepare what to say during a conversation. So let's get started. So there are 8 national holidays with official time off in Mongolia and some other celebrated holidays which are not necessarily timed off, but it's still popular. So I'll start with the main 8 national holidays, starting with the New Year's Day. So in Mongolia, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve are celebrated more widely than Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And just like we have Santa in the Western culture, in Mongolia we have what's called Winter Old Man, or in Mongolian, Өвлийн өвгөн. Өвлийн өвгөн. So Winter Old Man, Өвлийн өвгөн, is just like Santa, gives out gifts just before the New Year's Eve instead of Christmas Eve. And his helper is, instead of elves, we have Snow Girl. In Mongolian, it is Tasung Ahung. Tasung Ahung. So Winter Old Man and Snow Girl would give out the gifts. The gifts in Mongolia is Bilik. Bilik. So family would have dinner on New Year's Eve and stick around until midnight, open the gifts, and just before the time changes and year marks, people would pop a champagne, and that's how we celebrate the New Year's Day. So just before or even the New Year comes after, you can say Happy New Year. So in Mongolian, it'll be Shin Ani Mind. Shin Ani Mind. Or you can say Shin Жилийн Баярын Мэнд хүргэе. Shin Жилийн Баярын Мэнд хүргэе. Shin is new, On or Jil means year, Mind or Баярын Мэнд хүргэе are both happy blank, so the event. So Shin Ani Mind or Shin Жилийн Баярын Мэнд хүргэе. Or once the new year has already arrived, and the next day when you see a friend or family and you want to ask, how was your New Year's Eve, or how's your New Year's Day, you can say Оноо сайхан гаргав. Оноо сайхан гаргав. So Оноо сайхан гаргав is how did you invite your new year? Or you could say the similar thing, Шинэ оноо сайхан өгтвөө. Шинэ оноо сайхан өгтвөө. Шинэ on means new year, сайхан өгтвөө means like celebrated or invited cheerfully and nice. The second national holiday is Lunar New Year. The day varies slightly, and it's sometimes in early or late February. It depends on the lunar calendar. And this is like very much extended Thanksgiving in American culture. So you would go out and visit your elderly members of your family. So it's a lot of traveling and eating and greeting new people and greeting your family members. So it's usually 3 days of holidays, pretty significant. So I've mentioned some of these greetings before. So when you ask someone how they're doing, you specifically say slightly different version of hi, how are you? So in this case, the Mongolian would be Амар байна уу? Амар байна уу? It means, do you have peace? Literally means, but the nicer translation would mean, how are you doing? Are you with peace? Or sometimes you can also ask, how are you doing in this winter? So you can say, сайхан өвөлжиж байна уу? сайхан өвөлжиж байна уу? If you're just passing by a friend or you are just wishing them a good Lunar New Year, but you're not necessarily celebrating them or greeting them, but you want to say some greetings to them before you go out for the holidays, you can say, hey, happy Lunar New Year, have a good time, right? So in Mongolian, you would say, Sar shinde сайхан шинэлээрэ. Sar shinde сайхан шинэлээрэ. So Sar shinde is the new month of the new year in the lunar calendar. So Sar shinde means all of that. сайхан шинэлээрэ means have a nice new month. And sometimes if you're entering a household and you want to ask, hey all, how are you doing? How are you celebrating the Lunar New Year? You can ask, та сайхан шинэлж байна уу? Та сайхан шинэлж байна уу? So you can say that for a singular person because ta is just asking for singular person. Or if you want to ask from a room full of people, you can say бүгдээрээ сайхан шинэлж байна уу? Бүгдээрээ сайхан шинэлж байна уу? So бүгдээрээ means y'all. And two new words that I want to share is золгох. So the first one is золгох. Золгох means a special greeting that you do with your elderly person, which brings the second new word of today, which is your elderly person. In Mongolian, it is Ahmet Hung. Ahmet Hung. All right. So the third national holiday is March 8th, International Women's Day. So just like a lot of the countries in the world, Mongolia celebrates an International Women's Day, and it's typically celebrated as a dinner, not as grand as Lunar New Year or New Year's Day, but you might see your male coworkers giving out chocolates and flowers to the female coworkers. And when I was in school, in middle or high school, the guys in my classmates would come together and prepare gifts for all the girls in the class and stuff like that. So it is celebrated in every institution, and it's pretty nice. So the next one is Children's Rights Day in June 1st. And it's mostly, it used to be more for mothers and children, but I think it is turning to be more geared towards children because it's their Children's Right Day. So both of these two holidays that I mentioned, the International Women's Day and Children's Rights Day, you would pretty much the similar, like happy blank blank, right? So you would say Bayram Mint Hurgi. So Bayram Mint Hurgi is like the generic way to say, hey, happy so and so. So if you really want to be specific on which day you're saying when you say happy blank blank, you can say for International Women's Day, эмэгтэйчүүдийн эрхийг хамгаалах өдрийн мэнд хүргэе. Yeah, I know it's pretty long. Эмэгтэйчүүдийн эрхийг хамгаалах өдрийн мэнд хүргэе. So эмэгтэйчүүдийн эрх is woman's right, хамгаалах is protecting, өдрийн мэнд хүргэе is happy blank blank day. Or you can say for the Children's Right Day, их хүрсийн баярын мэнд хүргэе. их үрсэн баярын мэнд хүргэе. So that would be more happy Mom and Children's Day. If you want to say Happy Children's Day, you can say хүүхдийн баярын мэнд хүргэе. хүүхдийн баярын мэнд хүргэе. So on the Children's Right Day, it's a very big day for kids. You'll see a lot of kids out and about, like very significantly more than a regular day. All the kids would dress up as cute as they can, and they're always eating something, lots of candies. The national parks and big open spaces would be filled with booths and food, little toy area, or little like any kind of game you can think of. It'll be filled with that, and children would be swarming in that place. So that's kind of what to expect on Children's Right Day on June 1st. So next up is the National Festival. It is also a very long holiday. It's right now, I think it's 6 days from July 10th to 15th, and it is one of the most major holidays because this celebration, National Summer Festival, would go back to like Genghis Khan's day or even before. So there are 3 main competition that happens, which is horse riding, horse race, and archery, and also national wrestling. So each 3 of them is very popular. You would have in the capital city the biggest and greatest competing against each other for the title for the year. But it's also a national holiday, a national celebration, so all these 3 main competition would also be held locally in each provinces and even each district. So if you don't want to get stuck in the traffic and just try and get into this very crowded celebration in the capital, you can just head down and pick one province and go there, and they would have their own local celebration just as good. And a lot of people go there and celebrate it as such. So one main happy like summer festival word that you can say is сайхан наадаарай. Сайхан наадаарай. Сайхан means nice, good, happy. Naadare means having a good celebration, but naadare contains the root word called naadam, and that's what this celebration is called in Mongolian. So we call this National Summer Festival naadam, but when we say Happy Naadam in Mongolian, it would be сайхан наадаарай, because naadach, the verb, means like celebrating something in a very cheerful spirit. So сайхан наадаарай. Sometimes you want to accentuate how well and awesome you're celebrating this. So in Mongolian, we sometimes say Dinj хотойтол сайхан наадаарай. Dinj хотойтол сайхан наадаарай. So Dinj хотойтол means, Dinj is like a tiny hill, and hotach means like it was bumpy and upwards, but now it's concave and it's downwards. So the idea behind this word means you celebrate it so much, there were so many people, so many footsteps, that a bumpy little hill has been flattened down. So that's the meaning behind this Happy Naadam word in Mongolian. So сайхан наадаарай or Dinj хотойтол сайхан наадаарай. And if you want to ask, hey, how are you celebrating that? Are you having fun? You can say та сайхан наадаж байна уу? Та сайхан наадаж байна уу? So this is the question you would ask. So the next one is Genghis Khan's birthday, or the Mongolian Pride Day. So there's no specific calendar day, but it's sometime in November because it follows the lunar calendar. So it's by lunar calendar, it's celebrated on the first of the first winter month. So it's usually sometime in November. And on this day, you have a day off, you celebrate, and also recently, probably a year or two ago, it might be a while now, that every Mongolian household is highly, highly encouraged to have Genghis Khan's portrait placed in a very respectable area of your household, in your house. So, some Mongolians who are living somewhere else is not able to do that for legal reasons and stuff, but this Genghis Khan's birthday, especially in the independent country of Mongolia, it's a sign of freedom. So it is encouraged to do that. So, but there's not necessarily like a happy Genghis Khan Day word in Mongolian. You can say that in English, but in Mongolian you would just go back to the basic happy blank blank word, which is Баярын минь төргий, or if you want to be specific, Монгол бахархлын өдрийн мэнд хүргэе. Монгол бахархлын өдрийн мэнд хүргэе, which translates to Happy Mongolian Pride Day, or prideful day, not the pride as in the LGBTQ. So the next one is the People's Republic of Mongolia Declaration Day. So it's celebrated on November 26th. The People's Republic of Mongolia was declared, and the first constitution was approved on that day. So we celebrate it every day. It's a public holiday. You can probably just say Баярын минь төргий, the one of the basic happy blank blank day. I don't know if there's any other specific words that you say besides those things, but it's more historical significance day, and by having it as a whole holiday, it is a sign to remember such an important day in the history. And same goes to the next public holiday, which is National Freedom and Independence Day. It occurs on December 29th. On December 29th, 1911, Mongolians restored their national independence and established independent country, Mongolia. So we also celebrate this day. So on this day, you can also say Баярын минь төргий. There's not necessarily specifically different word, kind of like сайхан наадаж in this case, but you can say Баярын минь төргий. So these are the main 8 holidays that we celebrate. So now going to the celebrated holidays that are not necessarily national holidays, but it's pretty popular. So the first one is Valentine's Day, February 14th. So in Mongolian, the Valentine's Day is translated as Gigang Haring Utur. Gigang Haring Utur. So Gigang is pure and heading with this day of love. So the direct translation is pure day of pure love. And the 3 phrases that you should probably know how to say I love you. So in Mongolian you say bi chamt herte. Bi chamt herte. So that's probably the 3 words you would use very often that day. And we have Armed Forces Day on March 18th. It is very popular, especially among the armed forces, people who are part of that, but also in general, it's remembering the veterans or people who were part of that when they were younger. So if your grandpa was serving in the armed forces, you would celebrate them too. Usually people would bring like flower bouquets to the people who are celebrating those things. Also, interestingly, even though the little boys in school are not yet serving the armed forces, I used to, if I remember correctly, my classmates used to celebrate it among us. We would give small gifts to all the boys in our classroom, so all the girls would come together, like prepare some gifts and give it to our boys in the class, because we are, expecting them to serve in the armed forces when the time comes and the age comes. So yeah, that's an interesting thing that we did back in middle and high school. And also another celebration we have is Nowruz Festival, or the Kazakh New Year. It happens on March 21st, and a lot of the Kazakh ethnic groups in Mongolia would celebrate it extensively, and usually the national broadcasting television MNB would always have a TV program on that day. I think probably most of the day, at least when I was younger, would have TV programs talking about how it's celebrated and whatnot. I'm not part of the Kazakh ethnic group, so personally I haven't celebrated, but my friends and people group definitely have celebrated for years. So the 4th one is a very significant one. It's the day after Kazakh New Year, which is March 22nd, and this is a day that marked a very big historical significance to us. It is the day that Mongolia's first astronaut traveled in space, and it happened in 1981, part of the USSR and Mongolia's collaboration together in the space program. One Mongolian astronaut flew in the space together with another astronaut from USSR or Russia back in the day, and it's a significant day for us. We surely celebrated, and the man who was the astronaut would go in the interview and talk about his experience. I think we sometimes have like a very special TV programs and stuff talking about it, kind of like a documentary. So that's kind of how we celebrate. Like, the reason why I'm talking TV programs is obviously that's my personal experience from growing up, but usually in Mongolia, if there is a TV program about it, it means it's serious, and usually everyone is tuning into it on that day, and pretty much that's how people celebrate, kind of like watching a big football game. Everyone's, technically celebrating it by watching it. So, and there's Buddha's birthday, the first full moon day in May, And we have National Flag Day on July 10th. So those days are just not that big, but also still significant, and a lot of people celebrates them. And the first day of school, and it's always September 1st. And we call it Irtminbayir. Irtminbayir. So it's a direct translation would be a celebration of education. And every school on September 1st would have an opening ceremony, and it's pretty nice. Usually you don't really have any classes that day, kind of like a syllabus day, but your school would have a program that they prepared, so you would come in there with your parents and you would watch a performance, hear important people giving a speech, and it's a pretty nice celebratory day. And especially when you're a first grader or a first in your middle school, like it's a very nice celebratory day. So it's very cute. So there are a few other days. So we have Day of Remembrance of Political Victims, and on September 10th we have a statue dedicated to them near the main square in Mongolia. So we would have TV programs about it, documentaries as well. Sometimes the museums will have open admission exhibitions about it. The third weekend of September, we have National Book Festival, and in the main square, used to be called Sukhbatar Square, now called Chinggis Khan Square in Ulaanbaatar, we will have a huge festival of just booths and people selling their books in National Book Festival. It's pretty good. And October 1st is the Elders' Day. Elders' Day is pretty significant, and you'll see a lot of them going to a concert and going to a musical concert and stuff like that. And usually their daughters and sons, their children would give them a ticket to see a concert, and that's like how people celebrate the Elders' Day. And obviously probably go out for dinner and then watch the concert, stuff like that. The next one is Teachers' Day. It used to be the first weekend of October, but I think now it turned to on a set date, which is October 5th. And it is the World's Teachers' Day by UNESCO as well. And on the Teachers' Day, usually if you are alumni, you would get together with your graduated class and celebrate it with your teacher, going out for dinner, or surprise them in their school while they're working, and bring gifts and flower bouquets and champagne and stuff like that. And you can do that to your elementary school teacher, middle school teacher, etc., if they're different people. And the last but not the least, we have Capital City Day of Mongolia, which is October 29th, and we've been celebrated it since 1939. Every year they have some expo or exhibition or something big happening, and also on that day, some of the museums also have an open admission. And all these days that I've mentioned so far, you can get away with saying Bayrimin Turigi, or insert in the title of the day and Bayrimin Turigi, and that's how you can say it. But I wanted to give you a quick recap on special days in Mongolia, so you can have a better idea of how people celebrated, and then prepare a game plan on what to say during the conversation. Thanks for tuning in today. summary of all the episodes are on my website, and I update it to collect other helpful tips and links to aid your learning journey as well. Thank you all for the feedback on the previous episodes. I will continue to incorporate your feedback and improve this podcast to be the most effective and fun way to learn Mongolian. So please keep them coming. If you find this podcast helpful, please share with your friends, family, and colleagues. This podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, Audible, YouTube, and Book, and more. See you in the next one. Bye.